Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Addie P's Real Estate Tea, where as promised in my last video, I am here with another video for you all. And that is this video here is in regard to the federal moratorium ending, the one that was issued by the CDC. Now, before I get into this video, if you like what you hear in this video, you want to see more of this content, please comment below. Also, please give your girl a big thumbs up. It really helps out with my YouTube algorithm. Also, subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos on this channel. And you already know, if you're watching your girl from Instagram, drop me a heart and show me some love. All right. Now, definitely nothing to be beaming and smiling about, especially if you are on the end of this moratorium that, oh, wow, this is ending. I need to figure something out. My rental situation has not been ideal. Now, the current CDC moratorium is ending June 30th, which is a little over a month away. And there's no talks yet in sight that they are planning on extending anything. And I'm in the belief that now with the economy opening back up, there being maximum efforts to roll out vaccines and so forth, I really am not hopeful that they are going to extend that unless there is a big push from housing advocacy groups and so forth. But there's definitely a crisis looming with this eviction. It's not clickbait. It's not, oh, let's scare and, put the scare in your heart. No, it's for real. And as always, unfortunately, it's those who are underprivileged, underserved, that unfortunately get the short end of the stick. And in this situation, that short end of the stick is eviction. Now, during this whole pandemic, landlords have found crafty ways of getting around the whole moratorium. There has definitely not been any mystery to that. And as housing prices have increased, so have rents and so forth. So it really has not been enough motivating factor for a landlord to say, oh, you know what, I really feel bad for so-and-so, let me just give so-and-so some more time or a chance. Unless you really have a great relationship with a landlord. Again, with all the money out here, the shortage of housing, even in the rental arena, landlords have been able to name their price, say what they want, and they've been able to get what they want in most cases. Now, the moratorium kind of threw a little monkey wrench into that per se, but the ways that landlords have been getting around that is one, lease expirations. If you just happen to be that unlucky person at that time where your lease was coming up to be ending, your landlord said, oh, well, time's up, sorry, hate to see you go, bye. And there's really nothing that the courts could do about it because it's a lease, it's a legally binding contract. You have agreed that at this point in time, you were going to uphold certain things of the lease. Your time is up. They could always say, well, the lease is up, or, oh, well, the lease is up and I plan on moving back in there. So you're going to have to leave. And there's really not too much that can be done about that. So there has been that kind of undercurrent going on during the pandemic. But for the most part, what I've seen is, hey, you know what? So-and-so has not been paying. I can't kick this person out because of this moratorium. Well, just recently, there was a federal judge who ruled against the CDC, their moratorium, stating that it exceeded its authority and that it was unconstitutional. However, the Biden administration then filed an appeal to that, and the judge then said, okay, well, I'll allow it temporarily. But what's temporarily? Is that until June 30th? And then after that, hey, get out, and make no mistake about it. I've said this in other videos when I've talked about the rent moratorium ending and rental assistance and so forth. If you are a landlord who does not want to fix anything, who is a proverbial slumlord, this video is not for you. If you are a tenant who is a bad actor, who likes to skip out on rent and live their best life off of stimulus and not pay for where you have to stay, this video is not for you. So go on to somewhere else, listen to whatever you're listening to, but don't come here, because you're not going to like what I have to say, and you're not going to be able to relate to what I'm saying. I've said from the very beginning with my videos that in this type of situation, both landlord and tenant have to cohesively, bind together, work together with this situation. Now, in our time of getting any kind of stimulus, of rental aid, this is the biggest amount of rental assistance that has been issued ever. So in saying that, it has been grossly mismanaged. And when I say that, there have not been proper things set up in order to properly allocate these funds to the individuals that need it. Case in point, I've gotten numerous, comments and so forth. Hey, where do I apply for this? I never heard about this. I just spoke to a longtime landlord client of mine, and he had no idea that this program even existed. So, unfortunately, due to, and I guess I'll give the government a benefit of the doubt in the fact that they are managing a major pandemic, but you're shooting money out here, but there's no way of getting the word out. So people don't really know. A lot of people that have reached out to me, hey, where do I go? How do I apply? Again, this landlord client, which this has been going on now for quite some time. I mean, in the initial CARES Act, there was money allocated. And even in the American Rescue Plan that just happened recently, in the beginning parts of this year, there was money allocated toward rental assistance. Now, I know that in the beginning parts of this, going back to the CARES Act, there was money allocated to homeowners as well, but that has since ceased. And at least here in PA, it's just strictly for renters. So needless to say, back to square one. What do you do now? Especially, there was some data put out from the Census Bureau, and they reported that there was a median price increase of $200 from March of last year to this year in rental prices. So not only do you have this dark cloud looming over your head that, hey, I may not have anywhere to go, but if I did maybe set aside some money to move somewhere, A, I am going to potentially have an eviction on my record, and B, I'm going to be paying more money to stay in maybe essentially the same amount of space or smaller. I know here locally, there are one-bedroom apartments going for $1,000. So just as sellers are cashing in on and capitalizing on this intense market here, so are landlords that are still in a halfway decent position, and people are paying for this because of the housing scarcity. Unfortunately, again, it's usually those who are, underprivileged, underserved, who are low income that end up suffering the most in these types of situations, and cannot afford to, just pick up, move somewhere else and so forth. And like I said, then you also have the challenge of the fact that the landlord may have taken you to court, sued you for money, and now you have an eviction on your record. Well, fresh eviction on your record, not necessarily going to get you the best of the best in living arrangements. You're, more than likely going to be subject to the slumlord who's not supposed to be listening to this video and, basically taking advantage and exploiting your situation. So I hope during this time that if anyone was in a situation that they were experiencing being exploited by a landlord, that they took this time to maybe fix up credit, so that way that can put them in a better position to be able to embark upon a better rental, or B, that they've saved up the money to have a nice chunk of money to put down a good, deposit on a property. Maybe they've gotten themselves in a better situation. What is needed at this point with this eviction crisis that is now looming? And like I said, I personally am not confident that they're going to extend that moratorium. I would really hope that they would, but extend it only if you were going to put proper channels in place to get people pretty much pipeline to the assistance that they need. And at this point, what we need is major government intervention in the sense of allocating specific programs or specific agencies to oversee the program. And that way payments are directly given to these landlords and not, a little percentage. I know with the CARES Act, it was basically, okay, at least here in PA, we'll give you $750 or up to $750 of the rental amount. Well, if the average rent is $1,200, then you're asking the landlord to forego that for up to 6 months. Most landlords are going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kick this person out and get someone else in here who can pay me my money. I don't blame them. But on the flip side of it, you have someone who is desperate, who really needs a place to stay. So, there have been a lot of struggles going on. And, unfortunately, it has been, landlords who are smaller, not incorporated, not big corporate landlords, but we're talking about the person that saved up in order to start building generational wealth, and who has a rental property, who has now had to take a step back and be like, man, you know what? I've gone a year plus without rent. What in the world am I going to do? I'm out of options. My savings is depleted. My kid's away at college. I can't pay so-and-so's tuition bill. So we definitely have to look at both sides of this. I think sometimes, landlords are definitely villainized in some senses, that they are these big, multimillionaires. They have money. Look, you saw so-and-so come around here and collect rent, and, they were driving a Lexus or they were driving a Beamer. And that's not always the case, just as the same as the landlord could turn around and say, oh, well, every time I turn around, I see so-and-so out here collecting Amazon packages. What's going on? And I'm not getting my rent. Well, that Amazon package could be coming from a loved one who bought you something nice. Maybe you didn't buy it. So I think we need to, as a whole, both landlord and tenant, get away from not blame game per se, but a stereotypical views, and realize that we're really all in this together. When one goes down, the other one's going down too. Because if one hasn't gotten paid rent for a year, then the other one's going to lose the building and you got to get out. So we have to definitely put those lenses on and see that fact. Now, as far as, other things contributing to this housing, this eviction crisis is, again, like I said, rental agencies have been inundated with, with applications, questions, and so forth, and they're just ill-equipped. They, we're not expecting to be a year into this and having to then go and, now pretty much be social workers in a sense and hear everybody's story, deal with landlords who are just like, look, I've had it, deal with tenants like, look, I've had it, and so forth. And the paperwork, that's another thing. Paperwork process can be very long and drawn out, and to actually get the check sometimes is a hassle. Sometimes it takes months. So, again, we definitely are in need of some intervention, of a more fast track way of these landlords getting their money and the tenants getting their help that they need. Now, in the American Rescue Plan, the rental aid that was given, in addition to actually paying landlords, they also were offering utility assistance, which was great, because, hey, if you're not able to pay your rent, you probably are able to get some utility assistance as well. So definitely some stuff worth checking out. If you know of anyone who is in need of help, share this video with them. I am linking some information in the description box below, that you can go to, and I've linked this information in my other videos regarding the eviction moratorium, housing, and so forth. But the first one is the 211 number. That's a national number. So you call that number up. They will connect you with a state agency if you have gotten an eviction notice and so forth. Whatever it may be, they will link you up with the help that you need, utility help, whatever it is, but 211 definitely. The next piece of information that is linked below is hud.gov. Hud.gov, basically, same situation, pick your state. On there, it says COVID help, renter assistance. It goes and it breaks everything down. So hud.gov, go to your state, go to the COVID help and so forth, and you'll see for your specific state where and who you need to call, excuse me, for that rental assistance. But again, you have to do the work. You have to do some of the legwork to get these things going. I know it's hard to say, be patient, especially for a landlord that may have been waiting around for 6+ months and hasn't gotten anything. But you definitely have to. And also too, some things that can help, a stimulus. Most people, if you have made $75,000 or under, qualify for stimulus. So I'm hoping that those measures help you all out. Please take advantage of whatever you can before it's gone, because once the money's spent, it's spent. But there's definitely tons of stimulus out there still waiting, and that stimulus in the way of rental assistance that can help get you at least caught up with rent. But until my next video, you all, thank you for your support and stay blessed.